وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين.
الصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد, the eclipse took place at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam hastened to the salah while he was full of fear, because the eclipse reminds us what's going to happen on the day of judgment, that is going to have almost the same image, both the sun and the moon, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them together. وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam remembered that, and he alayhi salatu wasalam used to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much. Alayhi afdalu salatu wa taslim. And when his heart is pure from sin, is the more the person feels the ayat, the signs of Allah, whether it is the universal signs of Allah like the sun and the moon, the day and the night, the eclipse and the like, or whether it is the legislative commands, the Quran, the Sunnah. So he sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much, and he hastened to the masjid and he led the salah, 2 rak'ah, each one with 2 ruku'. The first is standing the longest, and then he make ruku', long ruku', and then he stood up and then he started reciting Quran, long standing but less than the first one. Then he make ruku', long ruku' but less than the first one. Then he makes sujood, long sujood, sitting between 2 sujood, long. Then another sujood, long but less than the first one. And then he stood up and he prayed. He recited a lot of Quran in the second rak'ah, but shorter than the Quran he recited in the first. And he did the same, but smaller, shorter. And then he alayhi salatu wasalam was mentioned while he was in salah that there is no more eclipse. Then he gave a talk, he gave a lecture. And in that day, an incident happened, which is that the Prophet's son, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibrahim, passed away. And the Arabs had a belief that if eclipse takes place, either a big man born or a big man passes away because of that. So it happened the same day, the only day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prayed eclipse, the sun changing, is the only day that his son passed away. So to them was something accepted, that the sun had the eclipse because of the death of the Prophet's son Muhammad Ibrahim. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna ash-shamsa wal qamara ayatan min ayati Allah la yankasifan li mawti ahadin wala li hayatihi." The sun and the moon are from the signs of Allah. It doesn't eclipse because of the death and life of anybody. فإذا رأيتموهما فصلوا حتى ينجليا. If you see it, means the eclipse took place, pray until means Angelia become clear, means it goes back to its normal. So that is the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the people of knowledge talk about the mas'ala, if it happens, salah is finished, the 2 rak'ah is finished, so we did now, but still the eclipse remain. It didn't change yet. to it is normal. What should be done? Some of them say the salah should be continued, and some of them say no, 2 rak'ah should only be performed. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't pray more than that. And the people continue remembering Allah, making dhikr until the moon or the sun goes back to its normal. Of course, the reason behind that is Allah to make His slaves fear and remember on the Day of Judgment. But there is also another physical reason the ulama they mention, which is that the lunar eclipse, like tonight, when the moon gets dark, they say it is because the earth happened to be between the sun and the moon. We know the moon takes the light from the sun. So the earth is blocking, as Shaykh Uthaymeen and others mention, is blocking the moon from the sun. Therefore, the moon doesn't have light. It gets dark. And on the other hand, when the sun is dark, it's the same thing. The earth, that the moon is going to happen between the sun and the moon. So the moon, it covers the sun from the earth. So the sun in this case get to be dark or red. The people of knowledge mention this is the physical science, but it is Allah who made it to happen. It is Allah who made it to happen that way in order to make His slaves fear of Him and remember the Day of Judgment, which the eclipse is taking place. إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ. We ask Allah al-Kareem subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and to have mercy upon us and to give us good ending. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين.